Okay, the Euro 2024 final has just concluded. Spain have beaten England 2-1. All the goals came in the second half. I was surprised it was goalless at half time. Spain were the dominant side in the first half. England were second best. It was obvious. England were too passive defensively, a bit sloppy. Spain, wasteful. Wasteful in that final third. And with the amount of goals they've scored in this tournament and how they played, I was surprised with how wasteful they actually were, with the amount of chances they were creating. And I'm thinking to myself, as it went to half time, England weren't out of the game, and Foden had a very, very good chance at the end of the first half to potentially put England in front, with one of the best opportunities. And of course, Simon has to make the save, and it's a very good save. And I'm thinking, with that opportunity, if Spain continue to play like that in the second half, with all that dominance, you can dominate the possession and create lots of chances. But as we saw with France in that semi-final, you can have all the dominance, all the possession, and still lose. So I felt Spain were riding their luck a little bit with how wasteful they were. The second half, however, it only took a couple of minutes, and Nico Williams scores his goal. And the defending by England was absolutely abysmal. Absolutely abysmal. The amount of space they left him. I know Yamal is attracting a lot of attention, and Olmo is attracting a lot of attention. Morata, and so other strike options are drawing players in. But I've people go on about how Kyle Walker is this brilliant right back. Where was Kyle Walker? Can we ask that question? Because he has done this a lot in the tournament. He's lost his man. And I know they were playing with three centre backs and two wing backs, and they made a tactical change rather than having a 4-4-2. They went with a three at the back with two wing backs. But I don't know what the communication was like there, because that's Kyle Walker's man. And Nico Williams, it's a brilliant finish. Could Pickford do better? I mean, I think Nico Williams has given him a bit of the eyes there. Pickford's decided to make an option, and he's gone the wrong way. Williams scores the goal on 47 minutes. And you're thinking, oh, God, England could completely implode and Spain could run away with this. Spain don't run away with it. Pickford has pulled off some brilliant saves at 1-0. And at 1-1 as well, Pickford has pulled off some really good saves. This could have been 4 or 5-1 final score. If it wasn't for Jordan Pickford, I think he was England's best player. Now, as the game wears on, Spain aren't killing off England. England are still lingering in there, and they would have their opportunities at 1-1. They would have their opportunities when they were down 2-1. Now, Southgate has been criticised throughout this tournament and throughout his time as England manager in these key crunch games, when he brings on the substitutions, tactical changes. He brings off Harry Kane. And by the end of the game, he got Watkins and Ivan Toney playing up front. Harry Kane did not finish the game. And I found that very, very interesting as a tactical change, taking off your captain. Now, Cole Palmer's also injected into the play, and Cole Palmer's goal is a brilliant goal from distance. We've seen a lot of goals from outside the box in this tournament, but no goals from direct free kicks, which I find interesting. But a lot of goals from outside the box in this tournament. That is a brilliant, low, powerful finish. Simon nearly gets there. That's on 73 minutes. And there was a momentum swing. You're thinking Spain, as I said, their weakness, game management. They were 1-0 up. They were controlling the game. They had multiple opportunities to make it 2-1. 2-0, should I say. Potentially 3-0 if they had scored a second goal. They didn't do that. Pickford's had a very, very good game, pulled off some very, very good saves. They didn't take their opportunities. They've allowed England back into the game. And when Cole Palmer scored, I'm thinking, we can do this. I was thinking we could do this. The problem is England have left it late in a lot of games in this tournament. They've played extra time and penalties in this tournament. Spain haven't had to do that. Spain have had that extra day of recovery since the semi-final. Olazabal scores the winner, and it's Cucurella's pass, which is ridiculous. That pass from Cucurella, I mean, he hasn't had the best tournament. I think Cucurella has been one of the weaker players in the Spain side. I don't think he's fully settled at Chelsea. He was brilliant at Brighton, I will say that. When he was playing at Brighton, he was a very confident player. His time at Chelsea, he's been up and down. He hasn't, I wouldn't say, had the worst tournament for Spain, but I think he's been one of their weak links in the Spanish, going forward at least in attack. In defence, he's very good, he's very competent. You can also play him as a defensive midfielder in a covering role. But going forward, he hasn't had the best tournament. But that is one of the best passes for a goal you'll see. That is perfect weight and pace on the ball. And Olazabal, that's a sliding finish. And again, could Pickford be a bit braver? But then you have to look at the defenders. Stones losing his man, Kyle Walker losing his man. They allow that run into the box. They don't close down the pass from Cucurella. It's a brilliant finish, and that's a dagger. That is a dagger to the heart of England fans. But England had their opportunities as well. And, Bellingham's had a rocket of a shot go wide. There was the ping-pong in the box where Simons saved one off the line. There's been a headed clearance off the line in the same phase of play, and Declan Rice puts it just wide. So Spain weren't fully comfortable in this game. They were the better side. They did create the better opportunities. What I found interesting was some of the timing of the tactical changes by Southgate and the Spanish setup as well. Some of those tactical changes... They take Yamal off with about 6-7 minutes left, just before the added time at the end, and you can see Spain now trying to protect that lead. England had their opportunities as well, but again, the game management. Spain managed the first half a lot better, played themselves into the game, just couldn't score, wasted a lot of opportunities. England did fight back, and Spain did not manage the 1-0 lead because they couldn't get that second. Pickford had a very good game, but then when England equalised, they overexposed themselves. It's a final. You have the option of extra time and penalties. I think Southgate and England were clearly aware that with the extra minutes they actually played compared to Spain with extra time and penalties earlier in the tournament, that they wanted to get it done, but they just overextended themselves at the worst possible time. And Cucurella, that pass is brilliant, and Olazabal has scored a fantastic... The run makes it, but I think on the night, Spain were the better side. There's no argument there from me. They won every game at the tournament, and I do think this Spain side, scarily, are potentially, with the age of them being so young, the core of this team being so young, can you imagine at the World Cup in 2 years' time with those extra 2 years of development and growth? It all depends on their qualifying campaign and injuries and such. But with the majority of this Spain side so young, and not just playing in Spain, and not just playing for Barcelona and Real Madrid, we've got players playing for Bilbao. We've got players playing, at clubs across Europe. We've got players playing at other clubs in Spain other than Barcelona and Real Madrid. I mean, the goalkeeper, is not a Real Madrid player or a Barcelona player. You've got wing-back playing for Chelsea. Morata's playing at Atletico again, and is confident again, and has led Spain brilliantly as captain. He's much maligned, and then you've got these young players like Nico Williams, and Olmo's brilliant, and then you've got Yamal, who's just turned 17. I think this Spain side could be even more dominant than the Spain side of the late 2000s, early 2010s. Maybe of the Brazil side of the 50s, 60s into the 70s, which was very dominant internationally, which was scary. The era of Pelé and Garrincha. We could see an international side that is so dominant for a generation, which makes the tiki-taka era of Spain over a decade ago, 12 years ago when that era came to its end, looks second best. Terrifying. I will say this about England. Some of the young players have really stepped up under pressure and performed well. I think it is a time for change of management on the bench. I do think in the dugout, I think Southgate has done and has taken this team as far as he can. I think he's left the team in a very, very good position going forward. But the performances at this tournament, how England made the final, is beyond me, because they did not play particularly well. They were clunky at times, but when they actually scored goals and when they actually started to build phases of play, they looked really good. They just couldn't do it for a full 90 minutes in a game. And so I do think that it is time for some fresh ideas in the management side of things and the coaching side of things. It'll be interesting to see if Gareth Southgate decides to stay on, or if the FA decide to keep him on, or if he does decide to resign on his terms, because he did state that if he doesn't win this Euros, he's gone. But he said that at the World Cup when we crashed out the quarterfinals. He considered his position and he decided to stay on. Now I think that decision has paid off. They have made yet another final. And England are starting to become very, very consistent at major tournaments. They make it to the latter stages. It's just about getting over the line. I mean, a lot of these players involved in this squad weren't there at the World Cup and at the Euros previously. There has been a turnover of players. Will Harry Kane be at the next tournament, for example? Will Trippier and Kyle Walker be there during qualifying and for the next tournament? I don't think so. Will Pickford still be the number one? We don't know about his future at Everton. Could Ramsdale step into that role? So we'll see what happens. But Spain deserved to win that one. They were the best team in the tournament. They were the most exciting team in the tournament. Don't get me wrong, this Spain side isn't the finished article. There are still weaknesses there. I don't think Spain had their best game this evening, and I don't think England had their best second half. I don't think England played badly. It was some key defensive decisions and defensive structures at key times let them down in a handful of minutes and a few phases of play. That was the difference. But on another night, England win that. On another night, Spain put 5 past England. It really is about taking your opportunities, and Spain did that. So there we go. Thank you very much for watching. It's been a fantastic tournament. Not the best tournament I've seen, but I think the atmosphere has been great. The fans have been brilliant. Some of the early games were fantastic. There were some later group stage games and some knockout games that I felt were poor, which weren't on the same level as the last Euros and the World Cup in 2018. I think they were 2 really good tournaments that we've had in the lifetime of this channel, and I don't think this tournament does come close to the 2006 World Cup, for example, or Euro 96 or World Cup 98. In my memory, they were far more entertaining tournaments that I enjoyed far more. But again, different era of football, the game evolves. But there we go. So thank you very much for watching. Place your thoughts in the comment section below, and I'll have some more content for you guys very soon. And also don't forget to like and subscribe if you like what you see. But from me for now, it is goodbye.